Hello, welcome back. So a few weeks ago, I started the toolbox session with the three guys. I introduced you to all three gentlemen. I give them a little bit of a homework type task to do while we're in lockdown, if they're able to do any swings in their back garden or not. Mark has been back in touch and he's made some great improvements so far. So I'm going to show you those improvements and I'm going to kind of suggest the next steps for Mark now to improve even more before I see him for the first time. So let's get into it. Right, okay, so what did we see in Mark's swing? The first big kind of red flag to me was how much this club head got whipped in beside his hands and how much that face got twisted open. So that was the main thing that I told him to work on. Reason being is because when we look at the rest of his swing, that lack of club face control means that he has to do this like Mickelson-esque flip. So we can see that face turned open early, face still open at this point here, pointed in that direction, and then as we come down, club face still open even at this point here. So Mark, being a smart golfer, realises that he can't miss it 100 yards to the right, so does this real ingenious but very hard to time Mickelson flip type move. And this is one of those moves where on a good day it'll work for you, when your timing's good, on a bad day it can almost be disastrous. So main thing I want to see moving forward is definitely more passive club face. So here are the changes that Mark's made. Right, so what do we see in this new swing? First and foremost, the main thing that I wanted Mark to do was to get this takeaway a lot more connected, and we certainly see that he's done that. So hands more on top of club head, stacked in that position, whereas before the club head was allowed to get real trapped inside the hands. A little bit more club face control position in this as well, so we see loft slightly turn more down to the ground. This is something that I'd like to continue working on. So as we take it up to the top of the backswing, the only real problems that we see occurring are club face still being quite open at this position here, and as we roll it down to a couple of frames before impact, we can see in that one there, this is where the Mickelson flip has to come in, to square that face up, because as we know, if it would just keep turning from there, we'd lose that golf ball a long way to the right. So cracking changes, but still more to work on. So I must say, I do love the improvements that we've made in this position here. Definitely good stuff, that, mate. So I'll give you a few more ideas now. Right then, mate, cracking start there. Love that where you've got that takeaway from this kind of a position into more this kind of a position. Great work. That's the only thing that I wanted you to do really up to this point. Next steps is where we need to evolve this swing now. So one thing that I'm noticing still happening is that your left forearm is rotating this way on the way back, which is causing that face to still get whipped open in the backswing. So a good feeling for you. Just feel as though the back of your left palm is staying pointing to that target for a little bit longer, because now you can see that that loft is manipulated in a different way. So instead of you wanting to rotate it open early, get that kind of thing going off, just make sure that it's back of your hand staying more to the target for a little bit longer, so that we're not doing that, but more that we're just doing that. Next tip, just a couple of ideas on how to control that club face a little bit better on the downswing. So still seeing that we're getting into that position of it being twisted open here, and then from there you're having to do with the flick in order to square it, getting into that kind of a position. Once we get to the top of the backswing, just feel as though that loft is twisted down to the ground a little bit earlier, that kind of a position. If you can see from there, all I need to do in order to get that club face square to the ball now is just keep rotating, and then from there, as we go into a release, it's a lot more passive. We haven't got as much opening and closing. We know that on your good days it's good, but on your bad days when you can't quite time it, it's so hard to get that club face from open to square to close in such a quick time. It's nearly impossible to do. So from the top of the backswing, feel as though that loft is twisted down, and then from there just keep turning, instead of club face being twisted open to a path and then from there having to do the Mickelson flip and then trying to save it from there. But yeah, tremendous work with that backswing. Keep on top of that if you can. And the next couple of ideas, feel as though that this left arm's not rotating and twisting that club face open. Feel as though your left palm is staying more pointing towards the target on the way back. And then in that downswing, feel as though loft is twisted down and we're turning through and we're keeping that club face a little bit squarer for longer. Top stuff, well done, mate. Right, so there we go. Hopefully you've enjoyed that little bit of an update from Mark's Toolbox. Can't wait, as I said in the previous Toolbox video, to get started with these guys. But I'm sure you'll agree he's made a cracking start. This is the next stage, really. So if we can get into a position where if we can get these changes, improvements nailed before I get a chance to see him, we're going to be absolutely flying. So do the usuals, like, share, subscribe, stay inside, stay indoors, stay safe, look after each other. See you tomorrow. Laters.